Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the channel, and my name is Gigo, and today we are back at the Hill project where we begin with the landscaping of the Hill project. So, during the course of building the superstructure of the Hill project, we realized that anytime it rains, all the rainwater which is coming from the hill, channels through one direction, and that this is the place where like normally all the rain, the focus of the rain from the hill channels through. So we did our investigation and then we saw that actually the rainwater, the fall is causing erosion at this part of the project. So you could see, the rough surface of the soil and it's washing away the land slowly. So we saw, like we already saw, because the structure is like two-story building high, so the guys could see how the pressure of the fall. And we were like, okay, when we are done with the structure work, we have to focus with this before the rainy season begins again, because yeah, it's very dangerous. Later on you will see how dangerous it is. Just pay attention to the guy who is walking. You can see him walking, normal. I think in the next 1 minute you'll see where he's going to end up. And this is the force that we're talking about. So you could see the you could see the pressure which the rain brings. And this brings us to today's subject. When you are buying your land, it is very important that you take someone, you get someone who has knowledge about construction, else you spend so much money with your project. It is not a bad idea buying, land on the hill, but sometimes we can advise you, what to expect, the cost, because normally people will prevent all of this with a retaining wall, which is going to be like concrete and iron rod. But can you afford it? If you cannot afford it, then you have to see how we could manage. So it's very advisable that when you're buying your land, you should get a contractor or someone who knows about construction to advise you with the land. So just see, yeah, you see he's walking normal. He will just end up in a big pit, in a big pit. You see where, and this is just behind the hill project, the structure, and this is a land someone has paid for. Someone has paid. So because of the things, the weeds growing around it, you will never know. You will never know there's a big fall here. This is like underground. This is really underground, and this is not even the end. He's going further, and you see how the water dashes, the pressure. It is actually a waterfall. I would say it is a waterfall. Actually, when it rains and you see it, it's like a waterfall. So if someone sells this kind of land to you, what do you have to do? You have to spend money to fill all this space, and if you're going to build on top of it, you have to make sure that it is well compacted. And because of the bush, growing around it, you will never know. You will never see it. Look at where he ended up. Look at his height. We saw how he started walking, and look at where he is now. He's totally underneath the ground. He's totally there. And this is where the water channels. So with this pressure, can a retaining wall, you have to spend so much money to get a very good retaining wall to hold this kind of pressure. So that is what I said in my previous video, that in this case we have to respect nature. We have to respect the fall, the pressure of the water. So we're going to create a gutter to just assist it so that it stops with the washing away of the topsoil. So this is the boundary. This is the boundary between the owner of the hill project and the next owner, which is the owner behind us. So who is going to take the cost now? who is going to take the cost. And these are some of the things that brings confusion between neighbors, because one person has to spend the money, and sometimes the one person doesn't want to contribute. You say it is not my fault, because actually the owner, the neighbor behind us, doesn't really care that much, because the water just just passes by him, and it causes the effect just between the two of us. So you could see that is the boundary, that was the pillar between us. So we have to do what we can, and I believe the owner will also tell the neighbor to also do what he has to do. But these are some of the challenges that in buying land, and this brings us to today's subject, which is how do you buy your land? When you are buying your land, what are the things do you watch out for? Most people buy land based on location. If you are buying the land because of the location, because of what you want to use, the property for, then we understand that you can just go in and you don't pay much attention to the land. You can just buy the location because that's what you are buying. But then sometimes it comes with a cost. So you always have to take a contractor there to study the land. Some of the contractors, they have the experience. So when they get to the land and they see the type of weeds growing, the grass growing on the land, they already can tell you, this is a rocky land, this is, a waterlogged land, or this is, a sunny land, land with a lot of sand. So you could see the guys are trying to level the place first before we can begin with our gutter, which you'll see later in this video. So it is very important, when you are buying your land, are you buying the location, or you are just buying the land, you just want to build something on the land? Then I wouldn't advise you to just go in for any land. It might end up costing you so much, because these are all extra. These are all extra in construction. And sometimes, sometimes some clients come and they're like, how much will it cost me to build a 3-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house, whilst we haven't seen the land? The land, tells a lot about the foundation that has to put up there. We have different types of foundation. With this, it will cost you more. If you check in my Ibri project, you saw how they have to take rocks underneath, and all of these things you don't see. So if we give you a cost estimate, it's going to cost you this, whilst we haven't seen the land, and then we go to the site and it is a different ball game. Who is going to take the extra cost? That means we have to come and tell you, hey, you have to pay this. And we don't really like to go to clients again and asking for extra money. That is not our thing. That's why we always advise that we want to see your land before we kind of give you estimates. That is if you really want to build with us. The only thing we need is just the transportation. The transportation. When we go, we can also advise you. And this is a plus to you. Even if you don't use us, you just need our estimate. We can just give it to you, and we being on the land, we can advise you so that we give you tips for you to tell the mason or the person going to build for you. We can advise them to do the right thing, with that type of land. So you could see they already started. They did a concrete casting to get a level, and we are using block. We are using block because to go with concrete is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot of money because the front of the house also needs a retaining wall. And for the front of the house, we can do a retaining wall because the building is going to slow down the pressure of the rain. So there we can use a retaining wall, but we're still going with block work, which will be in my next episode. So just watch out for that. So the next point which I'll share about buying a land, which is the reason why it's important that at least you engage a contractor. It's just recently one of our clients wanted to buy a land, and she got in touch with us that she wants us to go and check it for her, and to make a plan so that we can position everything right. And then we got there, and then my contractor already took his measurement and measured the land, so he knew where the 70 by 100 is. because those that were coming to to demarcate the land came a little bit late. So we already did our thing and we were just waiting for them to come and just approve. And they came and they also gave their measurement. And guess what? It was 70 by, I think it was 60 by 70. They took almost 10 feet off. They took 10 feet off. So these are things that people are doing. They'll tell you the land is 70 by 100, but in measurement, they always reduce it. They can put it on paper as a 70 by 100, but when you go to the ground, where they'll put the pillars is actually lesser than what is on the paper. So when they came, they came and they did their thing. They're like, yeah, this is a demarcation. And my contractor was like, we already did it, and this is this is what we got. So let's do it together. And and it came up that yeah, they were trying to take some of the portion. So you can imagine if the lady, wouldn't have, asked us to be there, she will be cheated. And from this, I can tell you that this is what these people are doing for all the people, for the people that they are selling the land for, because they have a huge acres of land which they are selling for out. So meaning when they get 7 clients, when they are able to do that to 7 clients, they have a full plot extra. So just imagine they have like 50 acres and they are stealing, from every 7 clients. Look at the profit that they are making. And this will bring confusion between 2 neighbors because maybe one has a good contractor. Just imagine our contractor goes and before he wants to start, he takes his measurement and that's where the fence wall is going. It will bring confusion between 2 people. So it's always advisable to, involve a contractor, right from buying of your land. It's very important. So I just want to share this with you. So getting back to today's video, as you can see, this is the gutter that the guys are constructing because it is almost getting to the rainy season again and we don't want to experience more wash away. That's why we're trying to do this during the dry season so that when the rainy season comes we can test it and see whether we've done a good job or we still have to support it or what we have to do, because as I said, we are respecting nature. We don't want to go against the force of the water, of the rainwater. So this is what we came up with. If you have any idea, let us know. That's why we are all here. We are sharing so that whatever you also know, you can also share with us. So this has been the journey so far. I hope these little tips of mine will help you or will save someone. This is very important. These are all extra costs. And after this, we have to fill the whole place with sand. You can see where the foundation of this project, we took over this project, the owner of this project, started a very long time ago. But then the team which he was using couldn't continue because they lack ideas. They didn't know how to go about it. And we came in just 1 year, we've been able to put up this massive structure. So I will use this opportunity to say a big thank you to the owner of this project for letting us use his experience to educate, and share ideas on the channel. I get a lot of comments about this structure, particularly. A lot of people are learning from this project. Like a lot of people call me and they're like, this is very massive, and it has motivated a lot of people to also come up with building an apartment. So in my next episode, I will give you a breakdown idea of how much it can cost you to put up this kind of building. A lot of people are asking me, and I will also share a tip. If you want to build an apartment, what are the places, the location you should look around. Most people build, to target diasporans, which cost so much money, but there's a way you can target normal Ghanaians, and you still make your money. So that tip, I'll share it with you in my next episode. So this is our portion, and that's what we've done. So beyond is the neighbor, and I hope he will have a good contractor who will also try to come up with something to just continue with the rain channel. And please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our next episode. You could see this is the back of the house. You see how further is just two, levels, and here you have 3 levels. Can you imagine you have to fill all of this up with sand? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So this brings us to the end of today's episode. I really do appreciate your time spent here on the channel. Next episode will be about the retaining wall in front of the house and also the finishing of the gutter. Thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next episode. Like, do we?